It's probably fair to say New York hasn't seen a star shine as bright as Jalen Brunson probably since Carmelo Anthony.
In the hands of Anthony. Anthony for three. Puts it in. Next.
Although some people don't see Brunson as a first option on a contending team, what can't be denied is his brilliance as an undersized guard. Averaging 26 points, 6 assists, on 48% from the field and over 45% from 3, Brunson has solidified himself as a top point guard in the league, despite the abundance of talent. That being said, how were 32 players selected ahead of Brunson in 2018? So without further ado, let's look back at one of the greatest recent NBA drafts, featured by multiple future Hall of Famers. Welcome to Sportsphere, let's get into it. Selected first overall by the Phoenix Suns, Ayton quickly became a walking double-double in Phoenix. But this was quite expected, as Ayton was seen as a dominant prototypical big man with a lot of potential. But hopes that Ayton would quickly dominate the NBA with his skill set would be quickly shattered. Although DeAndre Ayton was still a solid big man, he proved to be nothing more. And despite making it all the way to the NBA Finals in 2021, his lack of aggression and assertiveness would soon be exposed. Over the offseason, he joined a young Blazers team, and so far this season is proving to be just an average big man who lacks versatility. Not a bust, but far from a top number 1 overall pick in history. Drafted by the Kings second overall, Marvin Bagley III showed some good signs early, but in his second season, he would suffer a serious injury that would keep him out for most of the season. And the following 2 seasons was not much better for Bagley, continually proving to be injury prone, and he was soon traded to the Pistons. Currently on the terrible Detroit Pistons, despite getting just limited bench minutes, Bagley continues to show signs of good talent, and hopefully he continues to have good health to bring him more opportunities on the basketball court. The third overall pick, Luka Doncic, was an exceptional talent with a remarkable EuroLeague record, as well as being named as a EuroLeague MVP at 18. So many were surprised that he was not the top pick of the 2018 NBA draft. This was largely due to multiple busts from Europe in previous years, causing concerns for teams, as well as the media enhancing these concerns. But as we know, that didn't matter. Doncic was selected third overall, originally picked up by the Atlanta Hawks, but he was traded to the Dallas Mavericks for Trae Young. And fast forward to the present day, over 5 years later, he's in the conversation for MVP almost every season, and he continues to break records seemingly every game he plays. And now in his 5th NBA season, Luka is averaging almost 34 points, 8.4 rebounds and 9.2 assists, shooting 48% from the field and over 38% from 3. These stats are almost unheard of. He's been carrying a rather weak Mavericks team without Kyrie, and doing so in epic fashion. Now the next objective of Luka will be bringing a championship to Dallas once again. With the 4th pick, Jaren Jackson Jr. was selected by the Grizzlies. He quickly proved to be worth the hype, as a very versatile power forward. He continued to grow in his team in the following seasons as Ja Morant and Desmond Bane would join Memphis to form a great young trio. Last season, Jaren Jackson Jr. won Defensive Player of the Year, and has been a key piece in the young Memphis Grizzlies team, consistently participating in the playoffs. Averaging 17 points, almost 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game, it's clear that Memphis have certainly found a great versatile big man. Drafted with the 5th pick, Trae Young was picked up by Dallas but traded to Atlanta. Despite his lack of size, his offensive dominance in college quickly translated to the NBA, despite being quite inefficient early in his career. Fast forward to the present day, Trae Young has been top 3 in assists per game among NBA players every single season since his sophomore season. In his career, Trae averages almost 26 points and 9.5 assists per game. Although an elite scorer and facilitator, Trae's shot selection and defense has always been questionable. And despite some playoff success, even reaching the Eastern Finals in 2021, it's pretty clear that Atlanta will struggle in the postseason with their current roster. Regardless, Trae Young is still a top point guard in the league, a very clutch player, and always an exciting player to watch. Iconic name, less iconic game. Mo Bamba has been the most disappointing pick so far in the draft. Selected 6th overall by the Magic, he will play limited minutes for the Magic early, and the next few years remained largely the same, with lingering injuries also affecting his time on court. This soon prompted a trade from Orlando to the Lakers, but his minutes continued to be limited. After being on the Lakers for just half a season, he will be traded to Philly. Playing even more limited minutes in Philly, Mo Bamba likely needs an opportunity on a non-contending team to prove his worth on the big stage, with the scary alternative of becoming a bust. Wendell Carter Jr. was known for his defensive skills and basketball IQ before being drafted by the Chicago Bulls with the 7th overall pick. Since then, Carter showcased his ability to protect the rim and contribute offensively, fitting in well as a role player for the Bulls. After 3 seasons, he was traded to the Orlando Magic and continued his career as a decent role player. That being said, this season so far has seen Carter Jr.'s numbers and shooting efficiency decline. However, the Magic continued to be a prominent team in the East. Regardless, Wendell Carter Jr. has developed into a good role player that many teams would benefit from having on their team. With career averages of almost 13 points and 9 rebounds, along with almost a block per game, we'll likely see Carter have a long career in the NBA, although it seems unlikely he will achieve All-Star status. With the 8th overall pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers selected Colin Sexton, who was seen as a dynamic guard with great scoring ability. Sexton became a key player for the Cavs for his first 3 seasons, averaging over 20 points per game. However, a major injury in his 4th year cut his season short. In Sexton's absence, Darius Garland stepped up in a big way, which soon saw Sexton move to the Utah Jazz, where he's seen a slight decline in minutes. However, he continues to be a professional bucket getter. Although he's had some injury concerns over the years, if healthy, don't be surprised if we see Sexton as a part of an All-Star team very soon. Kevin Knox, drafted by the New York Knicks as a 9th overall pick in 2018, was seen as a forward with scoring versatility. While he's shown flashes of good offensive talent, Knox has faced challenges in establishing a consistent role. After changing teams multiple times, he's now coming off the Pistons bench, playing 15 minutes a game, and despite some improvements offensively, the next couple of seasons will undoubtedly be make or break seasons for Knox, as he's simply not been consistent nor promising in his first 6 years of the NBA. As for Mikal Bridges, it was a different story. As a versatile forward, he was selected by Philly in 2018 but quickly traded to the Phoenix Suns. Despite a mediocre rookie season, Bridges soon proved to be an integral piece for Phoenix alongside Devin Booker, contributing heavily on both ends of the floor. And when Chris Paul joined the Suns, Bridges continued to play a crucial role. In the 2021 NBA Finals, Bridges proved to be a reliable third option behind Booker and Paul. But with Kevin Durant wanting out of Brooklyn, the Phoenix Suns would let go of Bridges in the 2023 trade period, where he was sent to the Brooklyn Nets. In his 60 games or so with the young Brooklyn Nets team so far, Bridges is averaging around 24 points per game, shooting 47% from the field and 37% from 3. Although not the best player in this stacked draft class, Bridges is the type of player that would be a perfect second or third option on a championship team. As for the 11th overall pick, he's having a season that is breaking the NBA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was drafted by the LA Clippers in 2018 and later traded to OKC. SGA quickly became a focal point for the Thunder and has quickly developed into one of the best players in the NBA. He excels in almost every facet of the game, especially with his basketball IQ. Also with a long 6'6" frame and good shooting ability, Shai has simply been unstoppable this season. Averaging over 31 points, 6.5 assists, 6 rebounds and almost 3 steals, he's led a young OKC team to a top place in the West so far. Despite limited playoff success, the 2024 postseason will undoubtedly show the true ability of Shai when it counts. The second Bridges of this draft class, Miles Bridges, was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets and was selected 12th overall. He was initially known for his freakish athleticism and dunking ability. Bridges has now developed into a key contributor for the Hornets alongside LaMelo Ball. His development over the years has seen him become a much better defensive player and shooter. That being said, recent serious allegations saw him serve a 30-game suspension by the NBA, and when he returned, he continued to put up good numbers, averaging 20 points per game this season, but doing so on a weak Charlotte Hornets team who struggled to even put wins on the board. The next player has probably been the most disappointing prospect of the draft so far, and he goes by Jerome Robinson. Selected 13th overall by the Clippers, Robinson has faced challenges in battling for minutes in his 2 seasons in LA. He was then traded to the Washington Wizards, and after limited output again, he signed a 2-way contract with the Golden State Warriors and is now playing in the G League for Santa Cruz. Michael Porter Jr. was drafted 14th overall by the Denver Nuggets, and I'm sure the Nuggets are very pleased with this pickup. As an oversized small forward, despite 2 lengthy injuries early in his career, MPJ recovered steadily from both injuries and quickly proved his worth. Michael Porter Jr. is a great shooter and scorer for the Nuggets, and played a great third offensive role option behind Jokic and Murray in their recent 2023 championship campaign. Averaging 15.4 points, 50% from the field and over 41% from 3 in his career, along with winning a championship, there's no doubt that Porter Jr. has made a name for himself early in his career. The 15th pick, Troy Brown Jr. was selected by the Washington Wizards. Despite some opportunity early in his career for Washington, after 2 seasons, he was moved to the Bulls where he faced a significant injury. Since then, he moved to the Lakers, and in the recent offseason he was again moved, this time to the Timberwolves. Despite playing limited minutes in his career, and limited minutes this season again, Brown Jr. has increased his shooting efficiency over the years, and continued to develop as a good defender, so hopefully he can turn into a solid role player soon. Zaire Smith was selected as a 16th overall pick by the Phoenix Suns, but was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. Smith faced significant injury early in his career that have impacted his playing time severely. After recovering from injury, he had brief stints on multiple teams, including the Pistons and Grizzlies, before eventually signing with the Cleveland Charge of the NBA G League. Dante DiVincenzo was drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks as a 17th overall pick in the 2018 NBA Draft. Known for his energy, defense, and ability to contribute offensively, DiVincenzo proved to have many intangibles early on, before playing an important role in the Bucks' championship run in 2021. Despite the ring, in the trade period of the following season, he was traded to the Kings, then the Warriors in the next season, and now in the 2023-24 season, he's on the New York Knicks and is probably playing some of his best basketball. A great role player, no doubt, but it'll be interesting to see if DiVincenzo can play another crucial role on a championship team in time to come. Lonnie Walker IV, a guard for the San Antonio Spurs, was selected 18th overall. A good scorer and athlete, he developed in Popovich's system slow and steadily, and by his 3rd season, he was averaging double digits in points with decent efficiency. And after another season with the Spurs, he was moved to the Lakers, again with good energy off the bench and good output. Now in the 2023-24 season, he was moved to the Brooklyn Nets, and despite a recent injury keeping him away from the court, prior to the injury, Lonnie Walker has had undoubtedly his best season so far, with career highs in points, field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, averaging 14.6 points per game, 49% from the field, and over 46% from 3. Kevin Huerter entered the NBA as a 19th overall pick in the 2018 draft, selected by the Atlanta Hawks. Primarily known as a shooter, Huerter developed as a good player alongside Trae Young in his early Atlanta days, contributing to double-digit points early in his career. He was always a good 3-point shooter, even playing a key role in the Atlanta Hawks' 2021 playoff success. After another season, with the Hawks having many players fitting similar roles, Huerter was traded to the Sacramento Kings for a 1st-round pick, and in his 1st season with the Kings, he would have his best season, scoring over 15 points per game, while shooting over 48% from the field and 40% from 3. He also proved to be a big-time player in that season. But in the recent season, he's seen a dip in offensive numbers, which has also seen his minutes drop slightly, but I'm sure we'll see a lot more clutch threes from Huerter in time to come. Josh Okogie was drafted as a 20th overall pick by the Timberwolves. He was recognised early as a defensive-minded player with a big frame, and he's fit into that role pretty well. That being said, early in his Timberwolves days, it became quite clear that he lacked offensive ability, especially with poor 3-point shooting. So that meant his minutes would probably always be limited. Now on the Phoenix Suns, he's playing around 20 minutes per night, still with lackluster offense. In his career so far, he's averaging 6.6 points per game on 40% from the field and 29% from 3. But considering he's still in the league with basically no offense, he just shows his defensive impact and versatility. Grayson Allen entered the league as a 21st overall pick, selected by the Utah Jazz. He was known as a pretty gritty guard and good shooter before coming into the league, and certainly proved this after he was traded to Memphis. At one point, he was getting into altercations with opposition players almost every night, and although he was hated, he had great 3-point shooting, good defense, and high basketball IQ. He shot around 40% from 3 in his first 2 seasons with the Grizzlies, before being traded to the Bucks, having a similar impact. Now with the Phoenix Suns, he's taken a bigger role due to injuries of his teammates, and certainly has not disappointed so far. In fact, Grayson Allen is quietly having the best season of his career. He's got career highs in points per game with over 13, as well as shooting almost 50% from the field and almost 46% from 3, which are all career highs. The 22nd pick of the 2018 NBA draft, Chandler Hutchinson, was picked up by the Chicago Bulls. He had limited impact early for the Bulls, and after an unfortunate knee injury requiring a long rehab, he was moved to the G League. Once considered an athletic player, lingering injuries proved to plague him, and with brief stints on the Wizards and Suns, Hutchinson was out of the NBA by the 2021-22 season, before he completely retired from the game at age 26. Picked up by the Pacers with a 23rd overall pick in the 2018 NBA draft, Holiday showed good signs early, displaying good 3-point shooting and playmaking for the Indiana Pacers. That being said, he's never taken the next step forward as an NBA player, which saw him move to the Wizards after 3 seasons with Indiana, before moving to the Suns, Hawks, and Rockets in subsequent seasons. Despite not being an outstanding player, he seems to be a good rotational player who can shoot the 3-ball and has decent guard skills. And considering he hasn't even reached his prime yet, at 27 years old, it'll be interesting to see if he can take the next leap in his NBA career. Selected with a 24th pick by Portland, Anthony Simons has steadily turned into a key piece of the future of the Blazers. Over the years, Simons has improved his playmaking greatly, while always being a good shooter from deep and a decent finisher at the rim. Despite missing significant time this season, in 11 games, Simons is averaging 27 points and 5 assists, shooting almost 46% from the field and 40% from 3. Although he has big shoes to fill, with Damian Lillard off the team, it'll be exciting to see what Simons and the young core of Portland can accomplish in time to come. Moritz Wagner was drafted by the LA Lakers as a 25th overall pick. After an average rookie season with limited opportunity, he was moved to the Washington Wizards, which saw him earn more game time. He proved to be a decent offensive player with good shooting for a big, which saw him move to the Celtics before the 2020 season. However, a significant ankle injury put him out for the foreseeable future, and in the mid-season trade period, Wagner was moved again, this time to the Orlando Magic, where he now resides. Despite limited minutes for Orlando, he's played over 150 games with the Magic, averaging over 10 points per game, and this season has been especially good, where he's averaging 11.5 points with 4 rebounds while shooting 61% from the field in under 20 minutes. And there's no doubt with his brother being drafted to the Magic as well, Mo Wagner has seemed to find a home in Orlando. Landry Shamet, entering the league as a 26th overall pick selected by Philly, was known primarily as a 3-point shooter, and he quickly proved this in his rookie year, shooting over 40% from 3 in 5 attempts per game. And Shamet's shooting ability has proved to be the exact reason why he's still in the league, as despite not being an exceptional player, a great catch and shoot 3-point shooter will always be a necessity for any NBA team. Selected as a 27th overall pick by the Celtics, Robert Williams III started his career quite slow, receiving limited garbage minutes on a seemingly always contending team. That being said, Williams has always been extremely efficient around the rim. Although at 6'10" with a big frame and most of his buckets being dunks, 73% from the field in his career is quite impressive regardless. Along with his high field goal percentage, Williams also averages 1.7 blocks per game in just over 20 minutes in his career. Anyways, despite his shot blocking and rim finishing ability, Williams lacked versatility, and this saw the Celtics get rid of him after 5 seasons and big playoff runs. This saw him move to the young Portland Trail Blazers squad to develop alongside Anthony Simons and other young stars. Jacob Evans was a guard selected by the Warriors with a 28th overall pick. Although the Warriors usually draft well, Evans was not great. After just 2 seasons with the Warriors, he was moved to the Timberwolves briefly before being waived, and the Knicks before being waived again. He then made appearances on the Santa Cruz Warriors, but has not played a game ever since the 2021-22 season. Zanan Musa was a promising European forward with experience in the EuroLeague and entered the NBA as a 29th pick selected by the Brooklyn Nets. Musa was a Bosnian-born player, originally known for his scoring and shooting. However, scouting reports didn't translate to the NBA, and he was quickly assigned to the G League multiple times in his rookie year, before being traded to the Pistons the following season and being waived. There's no doubt that it became clear early on that Musa simply wasn't good enough for the NBA. Next we have Amari Spellman, who joined the Hawks with the 30th overall pick in the draft. After his rookie season with the Hawks, he proved to have good shooting, however, lacked finishing for a big man. This saw him be traded to the Warriors for the following season, and his issues certainly remained. He was then moved to the Timberwolves before signing with their G League affiliate, the Iowa Wolves, all before moving overseas in the following season. Elie Okombo was another pick of the 2018 draft, only having 2 seasons in the NBA. Selected by the Phoenix Suns, Okombo had an underwhelming start to his career. As a guard, although he wasn't a bad shooter, but Okombo simply didn't have the ball handling ability, where he averaged over 2 turnovers per game in just 15 minutes of game time, which is very alarming, and this quickly saw him out of the league, and now he's a bench warmer in the EuroLeague. Javon Carter was selected by the Memphis Grizzlies as a 32nd pick in the draft. Mainly known for his defense, Carter has played a limited role off the bench as an energy player. He has quite lackluster offense, but his energy and disruptive qualities make up for this, where he's now with his 5th team in 6 seasons, now with the Chicago Bulls. And there it is, the 32 players drafted before Jalen Brunson. Although there was some all-time talent in this class, there were also a handful of players not even in the NBA today, and I'm sure a lot of teams regret overlooking Brunson. Anyways, thanks for watching Sportsphere. Where do you think Brunson ranks as a top player in the 2018 NBA draft? Please leave your comments below, and we'll see you next time.